Hello and a warm welcome to all our racing patrons for the race preview of the Sunday meeting. The first race is a dynamic dancer plate for maiden horses 3-year-olds only. Number 2 is Dr. DD, who ran in race number 150/7 furlong. And first run of this runner started to muster, but it was very late, finishing 8th out of 14 runners behind Sensibility. Number 3 is Golden Inzio, who ran in race number 142, running 3 horses wide and already having 2 runs. First run 6th in a 5.5 furlong trip to High Reward. And this 6 furlong trip finished on 7 to True Icon. Easy winner, True Icon by a 5.25 length, but Golden Inzio finishing far away 7th. Number 8 is Lights On. Lights On has 4 runs. First outing 3rd and a dasher. First 2 runs went to the front, but other 2 runs in the mid group all the way. Later on in the straight, when the rider went for the whip, the horse did not respond well, gradually fell back. Particularly in this race, interfered in the early part of the race and finished 6th. Malibu and number 11 Silver Lining are the 2 runners who ran in race number 125, and Malibu being the leader, overall by Exclusive Spark, who was coming well on the outside but lugging in a little slightly, but did not disturb Malibu and just overhauled him quite easily, the winner. And Malibu held on to the second position from the fast finishing Silver Lining, who covered more than 5 lengths in the last 50 meters but just shorted behind Malibu. 13 is This Is Me. Debut run of This Is Me, finishing 8th out of 9 runners behind Air. Started to drift out, even the rider went for the whip on the left with the reminder, then slightly came on the inside, but you can see it's already on the center part of the track in the red colors. Again being reminded with the left hand. Once again slightly moved in the last 50 meters to finish 8th, just behind, beating 1 home. Second race is the Sharon Plate Division 2 to be run over 6 furlong for horses rated 20 to 45. Number 1 is Pacific Command, race number 145. This was a heavily fancied runner, but after winning race number 93 over 6 furlong, this 7 furlong trip could not muster well. It looked like it's going to bridge the gap with a couple of backhanders. Still took time to warm up. By the time the race was for Char Ek Char, who nosed down 2 runners on the post, including Southern Act. Number 2 is Flying Scotsman, who ran in race number 4. This is the only run of Flying Scotsman, running after a long layoff. This is the first day of the season, and now we are on the 23rd of day of the season. So going by the form, after this, some setback may be there for this runner, for which it has not taken part and rested for a long period, and where it finished 5th to Blue Origin in race number 4. Number 3, Hot Seat, very wide. This runner was backed well as a 2-1 favorite. Then it was totally squeezed between the 2 runners when about to get into acceleration mode, and lost the momentum there itself and finished 10th to NRI Touch. Earlier good runs of Hot Seat where it was fancied well, because once a winner, a couple of times second. Number 4 is Malala. This was the money back favorite in race number 85, which was taken by surprise by a long shot Despang. Relentlessly whacked was Despang, for which it got the race by length, but it would have been easy for Malala if not Despang was ridden like that, because earlier it won by 3.25 length, beating Beauty Flame. Then here, that, as I said, surpriser was Despang, who spoiled the party. Number 5, City of Blossom, ran 4th to Indy. Easy win for Indy by 2.25 length, but in the mid group was City of Blossom and finished on 4th. Blue Label, race number 136 over 6 furlong, very wide, and finished on 8th. Earlier winner in race number 116, beating Wild Card, but here when you see that he lost most of the ground there itself after drifting out a couple of times. This horse has drifted out earlier and again repeated that, finishing way behind 8th in a field of 14 runners. Number 7 is Soul Empress. This is the runner in race number 146, finished on 5th. Earlier winner, because came down in class, won there, fancied well, and got a win, beating Fatuma by 3 and a quarter length with a penalty of 9 points. Again got promoted to higher class, but did well, tried his best to defy the penalty, and a close 5th to Sandown Park, who was a surpriser on that day. Number 8 is CABELLO. CABELLO was produced very wide, started to muster, but it was little late when Hashtag got into acceleration mode to beat Silk by a neck at the post, whereas look at CABELLO, who covered a little bit of ground to finish 7th. COSTELLO is the next runner. This horse, after having a setback, rested well, came back in race number 168, first run in race number 6 of the season. That was on the first day. Then here you can see little green rider when he goes for the whip. The horse started to brush a runner, then he pulled it out again, ridden hard, and started to pick up momentum, but it was little late, and finished on 8th to Georgia Peach. Euphoria comes from Delhi, but we are looking at number 11, Gurbaz, who ran 4th in race number 154 to Prime Gardenia. Prime Gardenia came overhauling the leader very easily and got a race by half a length, but as Gurbaz also finishing well in the last 100 meters and just lost the 3rd place by a short hit for the runner, who came very wide to get it. First division of the Crown Treasure Plate is the 3rd race of the afternoon, to be run over a mile in category 3 for 5-year-olds and upward at 22.45. Number 1, Cheltenham. Number 3, Starbabe. Number 6, NRI Heights. They all ran in race number 153, whereas NRI Heights was slow at the start. This has repeated that behavior even in earlier run, race number 118. Slow at the start, and here finished 13 out of 14 runners behind Isra. Isra came with a very powerful run. And Cheltenham, on the other hand, finished on 7th. Isra got the race by a nose, beating Miss Little Angel. The rider of Miss Little Angel lost his whip at around 400 meters and just went hands and heels, and Isra ridden hard came and got the race. Looking at Starbabe credentials, winner in race number 25. Next, over a longer trip, that's over a mile, tried to finish 2nd. Once again, mile run finished 5th. NRI Sun is the next runner, who finished on 2nd to Garnet. This horse missed the start by a couple of lengths. Fancied runner came charging by the time Garnet was clinging on and dived, but still missed it by a neck. Good run, we can say, when you consider that horse missed a couple of lengths at the start. Number 4 is Royal Pal, who was ridden out in the straight, finishing 6th out of 13 runners to NRI Touch. There is a group of runners swamping Royal Pal. Good form to go by. 4th winner, 2nd, 4th. It's the only run which finished off the frame. Number 5 is Dylan, who ran in race number 100, the eventual winner. Overall, the leader, and that was Charik Char, the fancy runner, but it was easy win for Dylan. So on that note, the way it is performing, once a second, it has the form to repeat, because it has won by 2 1/4 length. Number 7, Royal Girl, ran in race number 134. This is the horse which has completed an encore after winning in a class 5-7 for a long trip. Got a win in a higher class, beating Grand Finale by a neck. So gets a penalty of 7 points here. Then came and finished on 10th. So second time was not so powerful run coming from Royal Girl, but race number 104 was very good, where it got it by a neck. Number 8 is Lightning Fairy, produced wide, race number 167. Last week run where Iceberry got the race by a neck. It was a very interesting finish. 4 in a line in the finishing stages, and of the 4 it was Iceberry who got it by a neck. But looking at Lightning Fairy, on the other hand, finishing 7th a couple of times on the board, as well as a win for it in race number 26 over a mile in class 5. Later on in class 4, out of 4 runs twice on the board. Sheldon ran in race number 124 and finished to 8-2. Furious Fun, the stablemate. It was earlier stablemate. So later, after the race, it was observed to have pulled up lame, so for which it ran off the board very poorly. Number 10 is Bedazzled, Bedazzled run, particularly this season, doesn't has any form at all, having 7 runs off the board in all the 7 starts with a drop of 1 point, has come down in class now. Even earlier it was in class 5, 2 runs it has run in class 5, but off the board in both the runs. Fourth race of the afternoon is the Silver Dagger Plate for maiden horses 3-year-olds only to run over a 7 furlong. And number 1 is Canterbury, number 5 Jack Daniel are the 2 runners. Jack Daniel's credentials: having 4 runs, last 2 runs, 4th to True Icon by a margin of 10 lengths. Here 4 to NRI Superpower, again by a margin of more than 10 lengths. Whereas Canterbury, also having 4 runs off the board in all the starts, here finished on 5th behind NRI Superpower. Number 2 Chinatown, number 7 Soorya VAHAN, number 9 the Akhanda, the runners. The Akhanda are having 2 runs. Race number 117, 4 to R. Race number 150, again 4th to Sensibility, who got a win, very easy win by 2 3/4 of a length. Whereas Chinatown, on the other hand, finished far away, 14th out of 14 runners. Number 3 Everglades, number 4 Fast Track, number 11 Carnival Lady. The runners who ran in race number 165 last week run. Carnival Lady was a fancied runner, where ASHWA Shirwal just bolted to a good win of 4.5 lengths. Carnival Lady hurried up in the final stages of the race to fill the frame. Earlier also 4 to Almaz on that note was fancied, whereas Everglades finished on 6th, Fast Track on 8th. Number 6 Protocol and number 13 Shaden are the runners, whereas number 7 Soorya VAHAN ran in race number 150, finishing 5th to Sensibility. Now we are looking at Protocol, who ran in race number 165 with that lemon yellow colors, ridden hard, started to drift out under pressure. Once the rider gave a reminder on the right, again he took control of it, again started to wear in, so totally wobbling run of Protocol. If maintained a straight course, I think it would have been in the frame. Another runner 165 who ran was Carnival Lady, finished on 4th. Shaden, on the other hand, finished on 10th. Survivor ran in race number 154. This was won by Ashoka. This is the million race. And having 2 runs Survivor, race number already has 3 runs. In 3 starts, this horse has finished twice 4th and here 5th to Ashoka. Number 10 Alpine Girl and number 14 Virangna. They ran in race number 150, which was won by Sensibilities. Alpine 0 ran in race number 167, which was won by Bangor on D, which made it a very easy win. It was looking like an easy win, but the other runner was catching up. That was Desert Sultan, came very powerfully and head separating the two. But we are looking at Alpine Girl, who finished 5th, and Virangna was the one who finished 4th, nearly 2 lengths better of Alpine Girl. Number 12 is Lady D, who ran in race number 105. 2 runs. First run, race number 44, has a 4-1 shot, finished on 4 to Ballerina. Here has a 6-1, finished on 4 to Arthur. Too good on the day was Arthur, who got a win by 2.5 lengths. We move on to the 5th race, the premier event, the Heritage Cup, on a day with a program of 6 races. Number 1 is Peaky Blinders, ran in race number 42. This is the monsoon run. After winning race number 19 in monsoon over a mile, beating Saffron Art by a neck, race number 42 was the slightly fancied runner, but it was Falcon Edge just simply overhauled Peaky Blinders in the last 50 meters to win it by 2 3/4 of a length. So long rest given for Peaky Blinders, entire monsoon season as well as almost all the end of the season of winter it is taking part. Number 2 is ASHWA VIKRANT, who ran in race number 115, which was won by Red Snapper. When you look at ASHWA VIKRANT, who was totally lost in the crowd, finishing 10th out of 14 runners, satisfied that it has beaten 4 home, whereas earlier runs in this is the first run of this runner, which it came from Mysore form to go by. in 3 starts, once a winner, once third and one second. Number 3 is Count of Savoy. This is the horse which has run in a graded races. Also here, after being up with the pace, gradually fell back. This is the Oaks Run, which was won by Faith of Success, and this stands out in this race because of this experience in the graded races, winning 2 races in class 4 as well as class 3, and second to Stockbridge in 2000 guineas, and in the Derby finished on 7th. Number 4, Just Incredible. Number 6, Aerial Combat. Number 9, Beauty Flame are the runners who ran in race number 155, mile and a half run. Distance was Just Incredible, was ridden out, accelerated, little late to finish, but managed to be on the board, finishing third. But the one which caught my eye was Beauty Flame. This is the horse which has good form to go by. Once a winner, twice second, once third, and here fourth. Even distance from sprint suddenly went up to mile and a half. Distance was a big question, but performed well to be in the frame. Aerial Combat ran in. We are looking at Rhythm Selection. This race was won by Rhythm Selection. That is race number 144. Easy Win was showing form with once third in race number 75. Again third in race number 104 over a mile. Then suddenly tested over a shorter trip of 1200 meters. Got the race by 4 1/4 length. Aerial Combat ran in race number 155. We have seen this run. Full Volume is the one which ran in race number 160, and Super Angel was the winner of that race, winning it by 2 1/4 length. Full Volume has never been on the frame in the last 4 starts. General Atlantic, race number 98, the eventual winner. One beating of Gregor Clegane, who started to give a good fight. Everyone thought it will be a walkover race for General Atlantic because the weight was fancied on the day, but Gregor Clegane gave a really tough fight for General Atlantic, who got the race in the last stride by half a length. So gets a penalty of 9 points. We go to Nightmare, the eventual winner, beating Sorry Darling by half a length. Stride for stride they went in the last 100 meters, and finally in the last stride the horse got the race by winning it by half a length. So gets a penalty of 8 points. Merit of consistency for this runner. In a 7 furlong trip fourth, 9 furlong trip fourth, 2000 meter off the board, but again mile won well. Angelita ran in race number 147. After winning a race on merit of consistency and trying his best to defy the penalty in the same class and finishing second, this particular run in a higher class was not seen at all, because I think class matters. 6th race of the day is the Division 3 of the Sharon Plate, to be run over 1200 meters in category 3 for horses rated 20 to 45. Top in class, Silk, Star Cruise, Plethora are the runners. So let's look at Plethora, who missed the start by a couple of lengths and finished on 11th out of 14 runners. Top in class, on the other hand, finished on 3rd. The Fancy Runner was ridden out, and Silk finishing second, fighting it out with one runner. That it was Beauty on Parade, I think so. Whereas Hashtag is the one who came with a breezing run to overall these two for battlers in front and got the race by a neck. Top in class, he ridden out, took time to warm up and came and finished charging third. So Silk finished second, top in class third. Off the board was Plethora, and one more runner was Star Cruise, who finished on 12th to Hashtag. Loris on debut, according to me, impressive winner, because the last 50 meters the way it covered, it was very impressive, even though it has won by a head, whereas NRI Millennium was a long time leader, and Loris got the race in the last stride by a head. So good win for it, gets a penalty of 8 points. Number 4 is Nolan. This is the horse which got what it deserved, a win by 3 lengths. Just a reminder to draw clear of the field by 3 lengths, and takes a penalty of 9 points for this easy win. Number 5, Salisbury, ran third in race number 100, produced out Dilla overhauling Char Ek Char. With chiming in was Salisbury. Char Ek Char fought hard to hold on in the runner-up berth, half a length ahead of Salisbury. Previous run, winner in class 5, Salisbury, ran well according to me after that win in a lower class. Flaming of Fame and Hidden Hope are the runners. They ran in race number 151 over 6 furlong. And this race was won by NRI Touch. Look at the way the NRI Touch comes very on the outside. Even though disturbed, couple of runners on the inside came with a very powerful run to get the race by a half a length. But looking at Flamingo Fame behind the field, finishing 12th, Hidden Hope 9th.